Hi, I'm Stephen Ward. This is my supply chain management video on BMW global supply chain strategy. Let's get into it. Company overview. The BMW Group, Bertreschi Motorenwerke, or Bavarian Motor Works, translated in English, started as an aircraft engine company during World War I. In 1922, BMW we know today was formed creating luxury cars and motorcycles. Today, the cars are known all over the world as the ultimate driving machine. Supply chain objectives. BMW is pushing towards decarbonization in its supply chain, like they're trying to get net zero by 2030. With working with their external suppliers, like where they get their lithium and cobalt from, they're pushing to meet this goal by trying to get sustainability with their mines and then the transportation and then the target market. BMW's cars are for people who want cars that are better. Like you don't just buy BMW because like, oh, I want a BMW. No, you want a BMW because of performance, because it symbolizes as a brand. Whether you want that brand for performance or sustainability is up to you. But that's you're spending money on it, so it has to be for you. Supply chain flow and priorities. BMW is a major importer of aluminum and lithium for their vehicles, with these materials going to four areas of their South Africa manufacturing plant, a Chinese manufacturing plant, their German manufacturing plant, and then their American plant. And to help cut costs on their carbon footprint, they use distribution centers when they get the cars from these plants to deliver directly to consumers and dealers. Because using this, you're able to get cars everywhere easier, faster from these factories in parts of the world instead of saying you get it from all in Germany. With all this transport, BMW uses electric trucks in Europe again to reduce the carbon footprint of their emissions. And then they'll get these cars to the factories to the dealers. They also can use rail in Europe too, because Europe is connected very well by rail, so you're able to utilize that possibly. Plus, sourcing of their supply chain materials to ensure that it is green and helps working to their goal carbon neutral by 2030. Again, they're working with partners, they're working with suppliers, they're working with everybody trying to meet their goal. Like they're not just trying to lower them, they're trying to lower the people they work with too and their emissions. Home versus abroad. Again, geography, location, because BMW, international brand, they've got things they have to work on. Like for instance, BMW has different strategies for different areas of the world, like China, their factories in China, it'll cover the Asia market. United States covers North America. And then like you're not going to ship a car from Germany to the United States nine times out of ten. Nine times out of ten, your custom order gets built in the US. Like there's a factory BMW has in Spartanburg, South Carolina that does manufacturing and then they ship out to dealers. And they build factories around the world to allow them lower their shipping costs. And then you can avoid some tariffs being built in certain countries. But it brings an easier way to get your cars around the world and save you money and lower your footprint at the same time. And then abroad, particularly in the United States, as far as I fully know, they use a bunch of third-party logistics like Benor Logistics Systems based out of Michigan. BMW in South Carolina highly uses them a lot, and it saves them a good amount of money too. And then the green supply chain. Again, BMW, sustainability, high priority. Sustainability is a marketing and competitive advantage from BMW. Considering now you're pushing towards sustainability, you're working on ways to build your cars to make them more effective, like your electric cars. You're trying to make them more environmentally friendly. Then marketing, well, proving you're an environmentally friendly company and you're pushing towards that helps you a lot. Companies trying to reach carbon neutral by 2030, like again, sustainability. And with that, they're trying to reuse more metals in their electric cars. Like they're trying to reuse former parts to bolt onto the new cars. And then BMW worked on trying to prevent unpractical mining places for their lithium in their electronic cars, which, by the way, lithium is highly pollutant. Like the lithium batteries, you can't really reuse them afterwards. But like lithium it can be dangerous to mine. Like a lot of lithium mines aren't regulated, so very unsafe conditions for workers and the environment with little to none labor laws. And since BMW did the extra time and homework to do this, take these steps to avoid that, you're avoiding the reputation hit because now you said, "Hey, we did our homework. We're avoiding the mess of like, oh, this mine supplies Toyota, this mine supplies Honda." No, you did your homework. Now you don't have to worry about it. And you can even promote your own brand on top of this. Why? Because you taken that time to where now you say, hey, our lithium is mined legally and and safely. Like they even said, we combine innovation and experience actively to reduce our CO2 emissions. How do you do that? You know what you've done in the past and you can work with your suppliers. And then you promote circular economy to save resources and minimize, like again, reusing stuff. The BMW group, reusing stuff. Then navigating global compliance. As global operation, you are going to face different sets of laws for each continent and country you sell your cars in. Like China laws versus United States laws are going to be different. Like the United States, BMW has to participate in the CTAP security program versus European Union, you have to face a different tire rules to where, yeah, they have stricter battery like regulations and require transparency. Again, when you're BMW and you're trying to be transparent, it works in your favor because now you're not really having to hide anything or find answers. Like you can say, hey, here's our answers. And then they also have to follow the ISO 1400 as a framework for their environmental management. Like like I said, they're trying to reduce their carbon footprint to where when they're trying to follow this, kind of helps them a little more. Like, hey, this is what they say, so we can at least use this as a building block now, which, like I said, can help BMW in trying to be compliant. Then you have your logistics optimization, and then the tech. Like first, like you know, to optimize logistics, it starts like in the factories and stuff. You got to do predictive analytics to improve their forecasting. Like you want to cut down on your logistics costs. Well, you can't build a bunch of cars and then go ship them off and not sell them. No, that's not going to work. Using predictive analytics, you can see what's working. Like, is electric cars selling more? Is it gasoline cars, diesel cars? Which one's selling? Which model of which electric, gas, or diesel car? And then when you look at that, BMW is now switching to smarter factories using robots, which can reduce the production times, which I have a picture for in a moment. As part of our partnership with SAP, we have transferred key corporate processes to a service-oriented cloud-based platform, achieving a new level of efficiency, quality, and automation in the BMW Group. So right there, already speeding up the process without really sacrificing your quality or your efficiency. And now, considering it's automated, it can run 24 hours a day if you want it. Like humans, they have to sleep, have to take breaks. Robots don't. It's like they're able to utilize faster. And then Europe, like you're even in Europe, you're able to legitimize even faster by using the electric cars, which again helps promote your brand of sustainability because now you make electric trucks, you can ship your cars by an electric truck in Europe, giving yourself even more like sustainability and brand promotion. And then you can also use rail if you need to, because Europe is more connected than the United States or any other country would be for rail. So it's easier to ship rail or truck if you needed to in Europe, and you can optimize it being faster because you have multiple options. And like I said, how they're speeding up their production process. Like order planning used to be 13 to 17 working days. Product distribution 15. Now, the new one, increasing a flexibility for order changes until 10 days before handover, 1 working days, 9 of product distribution, shortened lead time, and it increases your flexibility for order changes, and like your reduction of production time has gone down. So like making your process a whole lot more efficient. Like a competitive advantage with you're trying to push towards electric cars and more sustainability, you're able to be a leading car industry in ESG practices. Like you made the electric trucks now. Like that's just slowly starting to become a thing in the United States. In Europe, it's more and more of a thing now, and you're able to transport your own. Thus, you're able to put your brand above others for being sustainable because now, hey, you got electric trucks transporting your cars, being able to save environmental impact. And then BMW's worldwide plants help reduce costs of building cars on site. That reduces transport costs. Like having factories all over the world, you're able to build cars there and sell them in that area instead of like say you build all your cars in Germany, then you got to sell them around the world. Instead, this cuts down transport costs and you're able to avoid some tariffs, like I said earlier, as well. Like it helps you be more efficient. And then like some markets, they're different. So now, say North America wants maybe more gasoline, and say Asia and Europe wants more electric cars. Well, now you're able to react, you're able to move, you're able to respond to the market demand. And since it's not all based in one person on one area, you can have several different areas pushing for market demands. Then final analysis. After looking at BMW's global supply chain, it would be a good move to expand their operations in North America because they are having to rely on their needs of the supply chain to Asia a bit, like somewhat in the electric car area, using their resources and technology a little more. More importantly, use the resources that you can use that you're trying to build your for your electric car programs, both in Europe and the US, as you're pushing towards more sustainability. Like when I say push more electric, like you have the electric truck in Europe. Why not try to go ahead and see if you can use that for your own supply chains in the United States and maybe lower your transport costs, maybe not have to use a third party anymore and keep your sustainability going up. And finally, BMW is critical about making sure transparency in its materials are ethically sourced in their supply chain. Like they make sure that everything is good where they're sourcing from. Like the lithium, they made sure the mines were good. There was labor laws were followed. The environment wasn't damaged or harmed. With the way the world is changing, like when audits, like the European Union and their audits of the sustainability and the accountability. This helps them even more. So it's a win-win for them. Their model has allowed them to grow more internationally with the long-term sustainability for the international markets, continuous growth. Like the plant mentioned earlier in South Carolina, they are continuing to grow it, and like there's more and more cars coming out. Like that plant is continuously getting added onto to where they even had to go a few miles down the road and add an electric car plant because it was getting so big. Like continuous growth is happening for BMW. That's all I have for today, and thank you.